Hello, everybody. Jessica Marino-Krenz here with the Equip Show, where we are highlighting nonprofits in our community and the amazing work that they are doing. I have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Keenan Page, the director of Bike Collab. Keenan, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Doing great. Happy it's the new year.
Yes. Happy New Year. So great to see you again. I know we had a wonderful conversation the first time we chatted, but I'm excited for everyone else to hear what's going on in your world. So if you could just start us off, give us a quick 10-second version of who Bike Collab is, and then we'll dive in.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jessica, thank you for having us. We're stoked to be on the show. I'm Keenan Page. I'm the director of Bike Collab, which is short for the Bike Collaborative. So we're all things bike. We want to help young people, kids, middle schoolers, high schoolers, connect to the sport, the art form, and the lifestyle of cycling. Whatever form that looks like, we just want to help kids unlock their physical literacy, fun, connect with others, and just get into our wonderful cycling scene that we have here in this part of the state.
Yes, and I can attest to how amazing their biking community is. So very excited for this one. So why don't you just tell us, how you got involved with Bike Collab and when you got into biking?
Absolutely. Yeah. So lifelong cyclist. My parents were always taking us on bike rides on the trail. I have lots of memories of summers of the, gnats and flies getting in your face, when you ride under the Keystone Trail. And so growing up, biking was just a huge part of my life. My brother and I, it was our tool for early independence experiences, going up to the gas station, things like that. And so as we grew up, my brother and I actually never got cars. We were bike commuters. We rode through the winter. It was our thing. And we've talked a lot about the bike people, right? Like we tend to be happy, welcoming, and it's strange how consistent that can be. And you're like, what's in the water? And so when I was in my deep commuting days, I worked at a hospital, and I'd get to work in the morning, and people would be like, why are you so happy? And so it was like my whole life flashed before my eyes in those moments. And I was like, oh yeah, because I was just on a beautiful bike ride. I just rode through Elmwood Park, nature. I got that workout before I started. I got those good endorphins, and I started my shift ready to go when people were searching for their third and fourth cup of coffee. And so that's when I realized like there's something special to this. And even though it felt very just sort of innate to my life, hey, ride your bike to the grocery store and things like that. The more and more people I met would just kind of, oh my gosh, you're riding your bike, to work. And so it became a huge part of just my utility of my life. It helped me to where I didn't have a car payment till later in life. I won't admit.
That's nice.
Things like that, where I was like, the bike is helping me, my lifestyle and my sustainability. And that kind of, as I got into my career, I spent a lot of time in roles that just helped humans. A lot of my work was related to the foster care world and helping young people out on their journey, aging out of the foster care system. So just setting their life up. And that's big stuff for anyone, but especially a 19-year-old. What is your housing, education, employment all at once? By the way, do you know how to make mac and cheese? So as we would people in their journey, I kept saying, with my coworkers, my team, don't skip the obvious, and things that were about helping people find their dignity and their humanness and their peace, more so than the 5-step, here's how you get a job, here's how the directions for life, which really there aren't any, as we know.
So it would make life a whole lot easier, but it doesn't quite work that way.
And then you realize, we would have some moments where the kiddos that followed all the rules kind of got to the other end of the side and said, who am I? What do I do with all this? So as the years went on, one more tiny quick story. A young man, we were going out to lunch, very typical for just the program, checking in. We went to Chipotle on 72nd and Dodge here in Omaha. And that was maybe 5 miles away from his home. And when we got there, he said, are we in Lincoln? And that was a moment I realized the power of expanding young people's worldview.
Yeah.
If we can just, again, it's less about what I'm saying, here's the steps, and it's more about experiences. So that's what I took into my career. And I spent a lot of time in nonprofits. And then just being a cyclist, I found my way into being a coach within the Nebraska Interscholastic Cycling League. So that is truly where this all started. Sorry, I had to tell you a 10-minute preamble to get to the actual where it started, right?
That's okay. I love the stories. I love it.
So, Bree, our mutual friend, Bree Campbell is the league director, is a legend around here, and really helped our team get started. So we're based out of North High School initially, and now we've expanded to have a team called Mach 1, which stands for Cycling Heroes. So our team is predominantly sort of the East Omaha corridor of OPS, along with a lot of other, families and peeps that have found our team. And we emphasize, removing all barriers. We supply bikes, equipment, registration fees for those young people on our team. And that's kind of where my two worlds came together. I was working in nonprofits and sort of helping human-oriented work. On the weekends and weeknights, I was chasing kiddos around on my bike and having a blast. And all of it kind of came together where I realized, cycling is a very exclusive sport. You need the equipment, which can be expensive. You need knowledge of where to go. And then once you get to these places that are in nature, you need to know your way around the woods, which getting lost in the woods is the theme of most scary movies,
right.
So it keeps a lot of people, away from that first time experience. How do you just crack the egg and go do it? So that's where, we founded Bike Collab in September of 2024. And our mission is just to be that first time experience for kiddos. And so the way we actualize that is we have after school programming in OPS. We were there 2 days a week throughout the entire year, even in the winter. Our goal is to teach not only the cycling skills, but the mindfulness, peer connection, teamwork, all sorts of stuff like that lead towards student success and just building a good self, right? Like having those experiences that challenge your mind, challenge your comfort zone, and that physical aspect of learning a new skill like riding a bike.
Oh, I love that. Everything about that is amazing. And shout out Bree. We both love Bree.
Yes.
So much fun. So for a student that is in OPS, how do they get involved?
So right now we are at Mars Middle School. That's our home base. This is our sort of first year of implementation and getting our programming really solid, finding out what works, taking a ton of student feedback. So our goal is to expand our school network next year. That's where our after school program lives. But our other way of reaching communities is our mountain bike programming in partnership with PACE. So PACE stands for Police Athletics for Community Engagement. They're an awesome organization here in Omaha. They have, you name it, baseball, basketball, soccer, taekwondo, chess. And we have a shared mission in that we want to have low or no cost athletic and social opportunities for youth. And so our partnership made sense right away, and we worked together to make sort of a summer program. Again, it was a 2 8-week cycles where kiddos could sign up for free. We bring the bikes, we bring the helmets, we bring it all, we bring water, we bring snacks. And we start with really I say intensive, we don't emphasize necessarily but we're going to learn hard skills. We're going to learn things that maybe kind of scratch the fear itch a little bit, maybe challenge that, but we're going into this zone of the unknown, which we talk about in our grass room, which is our classroom on grass.
I love that.
We take things from the unknown to the known, and that's the directions of life, right? Like that, going back to how do you live, how do you grow yourself? It's not just the directions, it's just you see something that's unknown, you bring your awareness, you try, you build new skills. So that's really the theme. We use the bike as the vessel But really, like, the theme of our programming is that sort of transformational change. And what we love about the bike, quick story again. So
Yeah.
bringing in some of our mindfulness components, that was another huge aspect for my own practice, just being a person, but also when I was mentoring and different things, like, we always emphasize that. Let's bring our awareness up, let's challenge that focus. A misconception that even I had initially was that mindfulness is quieting the mind. It's actually bringing awareness to what is, and a practitioner early on, I would say, when I'm meditating, I go away, right? The grocery list, the to-dos, the worries.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for me to come back to this place of peace, right? The practitioner said, "Oh, my friend, you got it all wrong. Meditation, mindfulness, this whole canon of just the self-care in that is building a bridge from the worry back to the self, right? It's not about this peace and the stillness, and you see, even the masters, right? Like, they're not totally peaceful in their mind. They're thinking of, oh, I should have opened the door for that person, or oh, I should have, I said this the wrong way to it, right? Like, it's about, that bridge of coming back. And so for me, that was hard to wrap my head around at first. And yet I realized, oh, I do that on my bike. The bike is my bridge, because when I get on my bike, when I'm in the woods, it's really hard for me to worry. It's really hard for me to be thinking of those things that I forgot, because I'm physically in the moment. And the reason it's so effective is I'm not just telling myself to be in the moment, which is a practice and is good for you and it's part of a mindfulness journey. But especially with young people, or just people new to this,
Yeah.
the bike is this physical tool that doesn't need batteries, that you literally, like, I don't even need to say anything. The moment you get on that thing and you start pedaling, it's happening. Your body is more worried about maintaining your balance. You don't want to fall.
Yep.
Maintaining your forward momentum, and just like, oh my gosh, there's an eagle. Like, there's too much going on to your physical nervous system to worry. And I know we can still worry, and if you're going up to a huge jump, and that might make you worry.
Yep.
That's the essence behind Bike Collab. How can we use this physical tool to do a whole lot more than riding? So sorry, I dipped into the philosophy, but that's really what carries our after school program and then our summer program with PACE. So that our racing team. That's the third sort of part of this triangle. I don't know if it's a triangle because we always want to add more, but
for now,
right?
Yep.
And so when kids are in class with us, or if young people who can come from all over the community, there's no qualification to be in our PACE programs. Last year we had about, I think it was 38 young people in the program. This year we have spaces for 60, and we're hoping to grow. So we're really, so happy for our partnership with PACE. And we have a great year ahead with them. But, there's that question after practice. There's that question after class. Hey, mister, how do I do this more? What else is out there? And I say, hey, and we have a flyer, we have parent engagement packets and things like that where, take this home to mom and dad, or, we already have those relationships built with PACE, right? So when that kid, our goal is not to create an army of racers by any means. We want just this to be an effective thing for kids. But the fact that you can, it's like, oh, if you want to race, oh my gosh, we have this entire team. And so last year we had actually 12 athletes who did PACE all summer and made friends. And, PACE ends in the kind of late summer, right when the NICA season opens up. Perfect. So we had 12 of those athletes join our team. And that's kind of the model, right? Like, you have this first time experience and you're like, this is cool. You maybe come to PACE and learn some skills and you're like, this is kind of my thing. And then, we just have amazing photos. Again, shout out to Bree. We have amazing photos of these races of youth that now they're mountain bike families. You look at their van now and they got mountain bike bumper stickers and a rack, and it's like, oh, sorry, mom and dad, you're
right.
now they have little brothers and sisters who are wanting to, be part of this. And it's not, and we even have kids on our racing team who don't race. They come to practice. They want to ride with their friends in the woods, and it's just kind of It's like a buffet, right? Like, you take whatever scoop you want. If you want to just be part of this as a social positive, oh my gosh, yes.
I
If
love
you
that.
come to our event, one time and you're like, this showed me I can do hard things. I want to be an astronaut now. Like that's
So
the dream, so yeah, Bike Collab, that we you and I have kind of talked about this before, like the chicken or the egg.
yep.
What kind of makes that cycling community? Is it that we have such amazing programs that now have made this community? And I would argue it's the other way. Like the community has just grown and grown and grown, and people don't know, but
Yeah.
we've had a trail organization called Thor Trails here since 1996.
Yeah.
Um, you know, there's some OGs, here in Omaha that now are big players in the mountain bike industry, and you'd never suspect it being the land of cornfields, right?
Right.
We have nearly 80 miles of trails in the Thor network now. And we're growing even more. So it's really been cool to just see those different pieces of the community come together to where now organizations like Bike Collab, Devo, NICA, North Star Adventure, we're all growing and part of this really exciting next phase where it's like, okay, the community has grown so much that there's these sort of organizations that can help support each other and further community growth. So I never bought big. I never got I was always late to the party, right?
Right.
But we always talk about like we feel like we're at a really exciting time and really just at the beginning of what's going to happen here in this part of the state with cycling.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love the way that the entire biking community collaborates. It's so beautiful to see. It's something that I wish everyone could experience, at least that one-time experience you're talking about. I went to a race before, and I had that moment where I saw kids from all over different schools working together to help each other, unsupervised, not unsupervised, but there weren't adults there telling them to help each other.
Right.
They were just being good humans, and it all was because of the bike. And that was just one of those moments where I was like, wow, this is really making a difference. And I urge everyone listening to go volunteer at one of these events, go watch a race, get your child this resource to see if they're interested, because it's just unmatched. It's hard to put into words kind of once you see it. So it's just amazing what you guys are doing. So with being a little bit on the newer side of your organization, besides expanding into other schools, what else can we expect from you guys for this year? We're in a new year.
Absolutely. Yeah. So our first year, we really, discovered who we are, what we want to be. After school and the community, kind of summer program are huge keystones to what we do. And this year, we're in the works of planning community events where these are just one day, everyone's invited, let's experience this together, because our other components are more in depth. We're in school year round. The pace sessions are typically multiple weeks. And then our cycling league goes from July to October. So, it's pretty in depth. And so last year we did a few events like the Global Sounds Music Festival, Adams Park Grand Opening, where we just had a demo area where if you're at this event, you can come try a bike, try a helmet. We have cones and ramps set up and things like that. So that really is that kind of, I think I already third piece of the triangle. So maybe we're in a square now. But that's another key component to where we can really be out there in front of communities. Everyone has access. And it really is about that first time experience that then can lead towards those things we're talking about. Hey, how can I further do this? Or maybe that first time experience at the park leads to saying, oh, I can go hiking here. Or there's a great playground at Adams Park that, toddlers can come play at. And so it's more than bikes. It's the nature, parks, just the ways that, we can get to some of these deeper things, which you just mentioned. Because there's our philosophy, there's our direct sort of service delivery that we aim to do. But the bigger pieces of sort of society we're working towards is let's get off screens. Can't be on screen on your bike, two-handed, sorry.
Yep.
Sports inclusion. And,
yes.
Anywhere you go in America, sports are very exclusive. My son, he's a teenager. uh, tried out for the basketball team. There were 200 kids there, and so the kids that don't make the team, what does their athletic life look like? And again, not saying, what is their bench press max and it's a big hoorah athlete. No, it's about physical literacy and the healing power of that physical mindfulness that we were talking about, right? It's that healing power of being on a team, of having a routine, having a schedule, consistently working towards a skill until you achieve it, right? And so that's where when we get together with our NICA friends, with TiVo, it is more about that one-to-one, kid learning a skill. We want, we had over 300 kids in the cycling league last year, and I can't tell you how many little brothers, sisters, neighbors, friends, they're waiting until next year they can sign up, right? And so we want to have this, we want to continue to grow this league and all these aspects of things like Bike Collab, so that kids can have those experiences that they get on sports that are just becoming so rare, but also so intense. The cutthroat aspect of sports. I don't want to throw any one sport under the bus, but we've all been at games that it doesn't feel right. The yelling, we're yelling at kids, we're yelling at refs. Our Bike Collab, NICA, we really want to. And, that's where you see those kids from, rival teams helping each other and having a popsicle together after the race, because they're just riders, and it's one of my favorite things about it all. And even if you watch pro cycling, and I'm not plugging anything here, but watch the downhill racers. When they cross that line, they're all hugging each other.
Love that.
Across teams. So we're not just saying it, it really is, something unique to cycling. And so whether it's helping kids have entertainment off the screen or that giant aspect of, sports inclusion in our society, those are some of the big things, we're working towards.
Oh, I love it. It's such an amazing community. I can't say it enough. It's so fun to watch, and it's fun to get involved in. And my question to you is, do you have opportunities for people to volunteer or donate, or what does that look like?
Absolutely. The best way to engage with us is to follow us on Facebook at Bike Collab. We have a lot of just cool, stuff to get to know us more, but that's where we announce our upcoming events, our call outs for volunteers, which will be coming soon. So we have a really big event in August, the Exarban Turk. So that's the professional criterium bike race. It came through town for the first time ever last year. Awesome. And Bike Collab hosted a kids skills zone and the Tiny Turk kids bike race. So we're doing that again this year. That's August 15th at Exarban. So we'll definitely be looking for volunteers to be a part of. We have pro racers, amateur racers going all day, and we now will have multiple kid divisions, recreational, competitive, different ages, and of course a fun party going on all day where kids can come try out a bike and do things like bike limbo. So that's the one we're really working towards. We're in the works of developing some more of those community events, so stay tuned for that. But one thing I really wanted to talk about with your community today was our opportunity to become a ride guide with Bike Collab. So we found in our first year, we have a need for all sorts of different volunteerism, right? Like we need everything from helping set the tent up, riding, bringing snacks. It takes all hands, right? But especially in the context of trying out a new trail, there's nothing like just having a buddy to go take you. Hey, come with me, follow me, right? And we have a lot of cyclists in the community that know these trails very well. And we have a lot of community members that just want to come try this out. So Ride Guide is all about becoming a volunteer. We do a little bit of training and orientation just so that you kind of know how we teach and our Bike Collab key concepts. And then you come to events and just you buddy up with new riders. And so while we're doing our event, you can take that new rider on the trail, right? So that they have not just an experience of, well, I took this bike and went and rode around a little bit, but it's like, no, I had a mentor, that came and showed me, this trail at Mandan called La Di Da, and now that's my favorite place. That's a real place. So, Ride Guide is all about, kind of taking that volunteer hat and really like maybe putting on a volunteer helmet, right? So,
I like that.
at our events, we'll need ride guides. We can use ride guides within PACE. So if you're interested in coming to like a PACE summer program to see what that looks like, if you're interested in volunteering in schools, part of being a ride guide would be that background check and making sure you're good with OPS. So it's kind of a way, of course, you can come volunteer one day and try it out, but if you're liking this, ride guide is a great way to get further in, because we'll eventually even lead to where, come to NICA races and come help us out there. And so whether or not you have a bike or any experience, I can't tell you how many new coaches we've gone, that their parents of kids on our team, they're like, oh, I haven't ridden in 20 years. And fast forward a few months and they're blowing their whistle on the bike and they're a fully fledged bike coach.
Yeah.
So no experience needed. Most of what we do with bikes is encouraging and just making sure people feel comfortable, safe, and having fun.
Awesome. And we'll make sure that we put your links, we'll tag you in it, so everyone has a really easy way to follow that Facebook page and get involved and check out these community events that are coming our way. It sounds like they're going to be a ton of fun. I can't wait. I know I'm going to go. I wouldn't miss it. Sounds amazing. We're getting close to time here. Is there anything else you can think of that I didn't cover? I mean, I know there's a million things we could talk about. You and I could talk all day, but anything else that you want to shout out before we hop off?
Yeah, I gotta shout out all our partners. Thor Trails is another great. We'll share that link as well.
Yeah.
For a lot of folks, that's really where it all starts. They are and development organization, and lots and lots of shovels in the ground, a lot of sweat equity from volunteers throughout the years that have brought this trail system to life. Because if we didn't have a place to do this, it would be different, right? And so Thor is a key partner. Also shout out to the Nebraska Interscholastic Cycling League, Devo, North Star Adventure. I know I'm forgetting folks, all of our fellow NICA teams. We have great relationships with coaches, from I don't even want to name the schools because it truly is everyone. So just a shout out to the community and also to Collective for Youth. So Collective for Youth is the grant administrator for after school programs and OPS. And they've been key in just helping us design our programming for the after school environment and just, welcome to these crazy bike guys with open arms. And so I know I'm probably forgetting folks, but just shout out to the entire cycling community. We have a lot of exciting stuff ahead of us.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Keenan. I really appreciate it. It was an honor having you on the show to talk about everything you're doing here for the after school programs. Everyone, go follow them on Facebook. Keep in touch with what they're doing. Check out some of the other groups he shouted out. There are amazing people doing stuff in our community. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next episode.
It's an honor. Thanks, Jessica. We appreciate it. All righty.